Hey guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 270th episode of my series, where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it has, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. So finally getting near the back end of this seemingly never-ending group of 90s classics, today I wanted to touch on House of Pain, a Los Angeles-based trio, which included Everlast, Danny Boy, and DJ Lethal, and took the world by storm with their smash hit Jump Around, which by itself was already so popular and iconic that it pretty much cemented these guys in the hip-hop history books right from the jump around. However, that massive single was on the group's 1992 debut titled House of Pain Fine Malt Lyrics, while the LP that I wanted to discuss today is actually the one that followed 1994's Same As It Ever Was, which would end up being the second out of 3 albums that House of Pain would release in the 1990s, or really at all for that matter, with the final entry being 1996's Truth Crushed to Earth Shall Rise Again. That's definitely a dope and enjoyable project, and while their debut full-length is probably their most commonly acknowledged release, their sophomore LP here would have to be my favorite personally, as the production sounds dense and full, yet still kept the gritty, unfiltered edge that made their first album so raw. Plus, the rapping takes a serious step up as well. Every member within House of Pain had a musical career outside of the trio as well, with Everlast actually dropping his solo debut Forever Everlasting back in 1990 before the group would even form, and then going on to release his experimental Whitey Ford Sings the Blues LP in 1998. DJ Lethal has long been the DJ for Limp Bizkit, and both him and Danny Boy went on to become members of hip-hop supergroup La Coka Nostra, alongside Ill Bill of Nonfiction and Slain of Special Teams. I think for many people, House of Pain is reminiscent of fellow West Coast veteran Cypress Hill, partially because they all worked together on numerous occasions, and they were 2 California acts that both had more of an East Coast influence on their approach to gangster rap, but also probably due to many surface-level hip-hop fans misconstruing their 2 biggest singles, as they're both produced by DJ Muggs, someone I discussed very recently on the channel, when I reviewed the first installation of his Soul Assassin series, which I'll leave a link for down below in the description. Both of the MCs in this crew are pretty skilled on the mic, but Everlast is definitely the one who ends up grabbing my attention the majority of the time because his voice and delivery are just so deep, grimy, and menacing, though Danny Boy definitely holds his own on this thing. And you have to take into consideration how the low and raspy style Everlast employs here wouldn't hit nearly as hard if he didn't have the frequent contrast of Danny's raps. This is a great example of an LP that puts its best foot forward right from the start, as the first few tracks are full of highlights, like the killer, crunchy bass lines that to me are sort of like the West Coast's answer to the New York sound of albums like The Low End Theory by A Tribe Called Quest, or A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing by Black Sheep, both of which have tracks that I'm reminded of at certain moments when listening to an album like Same As It Ever Was. But to be fair, countless rappers and groups were using similar samples and bass lines at this time. I'm really not too sure why this LP and House of Pain in general doesn't get the same treatment that Cypress Hill and some of the other artists from this era and scene did, but from my view, it seems like they occasionally get labeled as one-hit wonders, which in my opinion is a take that normally comes from people who haven't even made an attempt to listen to anything outside of that one hit in question. As I mentioned, Everlast is the one who really steals the show on this thing for me, so I want to share one of my favorite verses that he lays down here, which comes toward the back end of the project on the second to last track, where he raps, "I used to kick it with the thugs, pushing drugs in the park, making every mark that was out after dark. Stick 'em for their loot, cut 'em up, and I'd dash. And when I had to shoot, I'd nut it up for the cash. Ran down the block with my 45 Glock. Capped off a round, everybody hit the ground. The next thing I heard was a siren, couldn't turn around. Money grip kept firing. Running for the ride, I can't go inside. I'd rather that I died, I got too much pride. I guess it's just something that you can't understand. My gun's in my hand, tell me who's the man. Outside of DJ Muggs and DJ Lethal, the dope beats on here are covered by talented producers like the Baker Boys and Diamond D of DITC, who also doubles as the sole guest appearance on Same As It Ever Was. When it comes to my honorable mentions that didn't quite make the top tier but still are worth checking out, I want to recommend songs like the title track, Word is Bond, Keep It Comin', It Ain't a Crime, Where I'm From, Still Got a Lot of Love, and Who's the Man. Then for my top 3 favorite songs overall, I most likely would have to go with Back from the Dead, I'm a Swing It, and On Point. Thank you for watching my 270th video. Next time, we're returning to one of, if not the most famous rappers alive, who's basically a veteran of the channel at this point. So look for that one, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what your favorite moments are off of this 90s LA gem. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.